One of the biggest mistakes I see financial planners make is not having the right pages on their websites. So if you're a financial planner or advisor, this video is for you. My name's Eugene and I build and rank hundreds of websites. I've spent more than 20 mil on Facebook and Google ads, and I currently progress about 800 local domains. These are either clients that I look after, mostly in the local space, and I have hundreds of my own personal websites that I rank, I rent, I push leads to. These could be directory websites, and I mostly work in Melbourne or Sydney, but Australian local clients. My job is to show up in all of the places that matter. And this morning I have just scheduled a further 20 pages to be built on a local financial planning website. This is where, as part of the SEO campaign, we're constantly evolving the website. We are checking competitors, we're checking keyword trends, we're checking industry trends as year on year their clients face different challenges with rent, with mortgages. There could be new legislations being thrown out. So the strategy is constantly evolving. So today I'm going to be sharing if I was going to be building a fresh website for a financial planner. I've built quite a few of these, and even if SEO is, you're not going to be doing any kind of SEO, but the intent is I would like my website to be considered in the running of AI search, being a nice, convenient layover over the top of Bing, which is Microsoft, which dips into ChatGPT, and Gemini, which is Google. Google being the biggest search engine right now, YouTube being the second. So essentially, we want to construct a website which at least would be considered in the running to show up somewhere. Okay, we're not talking about ranking it at the top of Google straight up. Anyway, without draining it any further, these are the pages that I would build. So straight in, we have common sense pages. Let's see if I can zoom in any further on this. Yeah, that could work. So obviously a home page, an About Us page. Now I think aside from the home page, the About Us page is one of the most important pages on the website. This is where you need to prove to not only the user that's visiting the website, but Google that you are an authority, that you're trustworthy, that you have experience, and you are an expert in your space. And the way that's done on the website, without getting too technical, is showcasing your experience. One of the best ways that I do that is I interview team members, I interview the owners, the founders. We look at their strategies, we look at their most favorable stories, the good ones, the bad ones, and with each member the interview might go for an hour, or I give them a detailed questionnaire. These days I prefer them to press record on their phone or any kind of microphone. That way they could be doing this while driving. That way the answers are a bit more meaningful, right? So detailed About Us page, detailed Meet the Team page with links to their LinkedIn, with links to any kind of accreditations, associations. The financial planning space is in what's called the YMYL space, which is Your Money, Your Life, which is essentially a Google algorithm which is just more thorough and more careful with who they display on top. Obviously, we want to make it really easy for us to be contacted. So a contact page, which is then could be booking an appointment. Depending on what you're doing with your marketing, you could have a separate landing page for one of these. What your processes are, fees and how you charge. Even if you don't display your fees, you should explain, this is how we bill, this is how the industry bills, etc. Any kind of frequently asked questions to minimize admin internally, but also genuinely provide value to the World Wide Web. Definitely showcase your testimonials and reviews. This is where I'll generally sync in your Google reviews and I'll display them fully. I will display them as a slider. I will display the best reviews, like a grid of those reviews maybe on the home page, but then there'll be a dedicated page for reviews. Now, the core services, of course, stems from what you do, and everyone does different things. Maybe you only do retirement planning, maybe you only do superannuation. So in this case, financial planning, retirement planning, superannuation advice, investment advice, wealth creation, insurance, estate planning, tax planning, cash flow budgeting, debt management, Centrelink advice, aged care advice. Now, there are more, okay? Every single month, I have a hit list of top ranking sites in Australia. There's obviously every month something changes. There are new competitors that come along. There's also changes from the government side. So I keep an eye on what's going on there, and we might evolve these pages. I'm going to keep going a bit further. Why choose us? Now, this kind of stuff, why choose us and who we help, might be sections within the About Us page. This is just a general list of, it just depends on the business that I'm helping, what kind of information we can get from them. Can we get interviews? Can we get a video? Now, case studies, client stories, this is a big one. I have been visiting the client, interviewing and sharing their successes, their challenges, how they would go about these sort of scenarios, how they would help a young person, how they would help someone older, what advice they would give. So that's a dedicated page if there is enough content there. Resources is a good one. This is, in this case, resources and blog, because I'm so heavy on producing long-form guide, educational, informational intent content on my sites. These sections will be quite serious and quite big, quite full of all of the keywords, calculators and tools. It's a crazy world we live in. It's so easy now to create calculators and tools with the use of Claude Code or other tools, but this might be a retirement planning calculator. This might be throw in how much I earn now, and here's a calculator of how much money I need to retire. There's a lot of little micro useful things. Useful links. This is a good opportunity to link out to the ATO, to the government websites, to the Centrelink websites. So when Google sees this natural flow of pages, you're linking out to high quality, high authority websites. You might be running events and webinars and seminars. In this case, I think every financial planner, if they are looking to pick up new inquiries, new leads, build a brand for themselves once a year or once every couple of years or once a quarter, book out a local little hall, little classroom, run a Facebook ad, and basically introduce the 3 speakers, the 2 speakers, the 1 speaker. These are the topics, retirement planning, and basically let people sign up for free, run an education session, Q&A, record it. Have it recorded, put microphones up. So that way you have 1 to 2 hours of high quality content that you can chop up, then recycle as a Facebook ad, social media videos, YouTube, and that basically, that helps you diversify your sources of attention, of traffic. That all helps SEO, AI SEO, and things like that. So we're not even discussing core SEO activity. We're discussing just a foundational website for your business. Now, this applies to any website and any business, really. I'm just focusing on local. Now, financial advisor in city and financial advisor in suburb. The first thing I would look is to ensure that there is search volume for these key terms. In this cases, there are. So I would initially, for a young site, if SEO is important, and if you will be expanding in the SEO, building backlinks, building additional pages, blogs and guides, I would build these pages, but I'd be cherry picking only the 3 or 4 surrounding suburbs from the Google business listing. No more, not in the early days, because it's a new site. Google doesn't trust initially. There's going to be a sandbox period, which is a mythical period. You can get out of it really fast or you can get out of it really slow, depending on lots of various factors, Google reviews, general business activity, social media, so syndicating videos across TikTok, Instagram, so just activity of the brand, a brandable name where it's brand plus financial advisor or financial planner, and having some recognition so AI and search sees that people are looking for you, which is important. And then of course in your space, compliance, which is privacy policy, terms and conditions, financial services guide, and a disclaimer. This is a must. This is one of those things that Google will pay attention to. They might not be able to prove any of this stuff, like they don't know that you actually finished that degree at Swinburne or Deakin or whatever it is, but it is important that you mention it. Some people, especially in the cosmetic space, they will, or medical space, they'll take a photo of their any kind of certificates, any kind of diplomas. That helps. Now, optional but valuable, this is where they might have mortgage broking, business owners advice, pre-retirees, retiree inheritance advice, any referral pages, careers, right, to show that you're a legitimate business, you have employees, right? This is just expanding it further. So as a very baseline, this is what I would be building if a brand new financial advisor knocked on my door and said, hey, I need SEO. The first thing I'm going to look at is, okay, what do we have to work with? What pages do we have? Most websites that I inspect are missing pages that explain what they do. They might have a /services page, which is just got all of the things that they do. Now that's good for a business card website when someone is recommended to you and they find you and they see the list of services. That's good. It's not good for visibility, because if 1,000 sites have a dedicated page for financial planner in Bondi and we don't have that page, we don't even have a financial planning page, then we're going to be not considered in the running for that. Now, we might have a Google business listing in Bondi, which will help, but once again, so will the other financial planners, and they might have a dedicated financial planning or retirement planning page. So guess who Google is going to choose? Tick the boxes that they're looking for, but also these are natural pages that you should have. If you're adding a paragraph that just talks about financial planning on the general services page, which talks about superannuation and everything else, generally that's not valuable enough to show someone what you do, as well as prove to the Google gods that you are worthy of page 1 rankings or being cited by AI. So if these are the core pages, I would then personally juice up the website with 10 to 15 to 20 informational intent blogs, guides, giving advice that will internally link to these pages. So there's a lot of advice you can give on Centrelink. The Centrelink one is a scary one because you don't want everyone off the street calling you for assistance. It's like when I mention the word tax file number, we get inquiries of people, hey, help me find my tax file number, and then the accountant just doesn't want to deal with that. It's a different space. Let me know if you have any questions. Hope this helps, and see you on the next one.